Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna do a really short video going over, from what I've seen so far, the performance aspect of the new Modern Warfare, what we can expect from it, and how we think it's gonna run. Really quickly, before I get into it, I want to give a little shout out to Gunner2X for providing this gameplay. He's got a decently small channel, and he posted this gameplay for other content creators to use. So go ahead and check out Gunner2X. The first point that I want to go ahead and go over is regarding the new engine. This engine that they're using for Modern Warfare is the first new engine in 14 years. They've been using the same engine for that long, and I guess it's the same core engine, and they haven't released a name, but it's basically like a revamped version of their engine. It's gonna allow 4K HDR, gonna be doing a new type of spectral lighting. So there's gonna be sunbeams shining in through windows, through through smokes from players throwing smoke grenades. It's gonna support RTX, so we're gonna be seeing ray tracing. I don't exactly know if they're gonna be supporting RTX. I would assume that they're gonna be optimizing the game for RTX cards, which is great because I just recently got an RTX 2080. From the article that I was reading, there's some things in there they talked about how the newer engine is going to take advantage of DirectX 12 or support DirectX 12, I believe. One thing that kind of scared people was they favored AMD components, and I've got an i7, so hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they optimize it for both AMD and i7, but considering I've got a decent i7, I think I should be okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if people actually go out of their way and buy AMD just solely for the performance aspect of this game. But considering how big this game is going to be, I think they're gonna make sure it's optimized on all platforms, not just AMD. The other point that I wanted to talk about a little bit is I think everyone, basically almost everybody who's played COD, at least if they've played like COD 4 or Modern Warfare, the old COD 4, whatever, like I know I played Modern Warfare 3. I had like a little clan, and obviously like everybody has that little competitive side to them. I played Counter-Strike, so I definitely have a huge competitive side to me. But one of the things in these games, especially COD games, is I tend to turn my graphics down all the way so I can get the highest graphics possible. And I'm kind of curious to see if I'm going to have to do that for this game. It would be really cool to see this game optimized to the point to where, considering I do have an RTX 2080 card, I can crank these graphics and be able to pull off 140 easily, considering I've got a 144 hertz monitor. But if not, it's really not that big of a deal. I know with Black Ops 4 I wasn't running the same machine and I didn't have my RTX card, but I was able to run the game decently with some things turned down, and I played fine. I think the only thing I actually had issue with was blackout. So if they're going to be adding the 50v50, kind of curious to see what kind of drawbacks we're going to see. Like, am I going to have to turn down my graphics a bunch? Am I going to have to, you know, play 20v20 on a lower setting, because that's kind of big as well as far as player count. One of the things I was actually thinking is it'd be really cool. I know it's a completely different genre, but in World of Warcraft, there's a preset mode, and you can take presets for your graphics. So you have like just open world graphics, you've got graphics for player versus player, graphics for dungeons, graphics for raids, and you can set it differently. So every time you load in, you know, maybe when you're doing a raid, you can turn down the graphics all the way. So it would be really cool to see that with this game. So like if you load into a 50v50, you've got a preset set, so all you gotta do is set that beforehand, so that way every time you go into a lobby, it instantly changes your graphics, so you don't have to do that every single time. Although, it would be really nice to see the FPS barely change on these bigger modes, but let's be honest, I think that's a little bit too much to ask for. I have a feeling there's gonna be at least a 15 FPS drawback on the bigger modes. Unless this engine is like super optimized, we'll just have to see. But regardless, I think we should be okay, especially those of us who have RTX cards. Another thing that kind of bothers me, and it bothered me with Black Ops 4 release, and like I said, this was before I had the machine I have now, before I had my RTX card and everything, is I stream and record, and I'm going to stream and record when this game comes out. I'm kind of wondering is how much of a performance impact it's going to have, because I used to use Streamlabs OBS, but now I use, what is it called? OBS Studio? OBS Studio. So I only have like maybe 2 or 3%. It's like a 2 or 3% CPU load, so I don't think it's really going to matter that much. So I should be okay regarding FPS. I might lose like maybe 5 FPS at the most. But if this game tanks a lot of CPU, that's going to be a huge drawback for me because I normally run a bunch of things in the background too when I'm streaming. Things like maybe music in the background, like in between lobbies. So I think it'll be okay. From what I've seen, like especially with Black Ops 4, my CPU definitely got pretty high. But then again, I had a different CPU, so we'll just have to wait and see. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go over. It looks, I mean, from what I can see from the gameplay, like the performance looks really good. But one thing that people don't really think about is like how beefy are the machines that they're running at these events. If this was on somebody else's computer, like maybe a mid to high PC, like how would it run on their computer? So I guess we won't really know how exactly well the game's gonna run until it comes out for beta, when people are actually able to get their hands on it. Honestly, one thing though, I do remember hearing someone, now that I think about it, somebody that was even on PS4, I think they said they got some hitches in the 20v20 mode. But then again, you also got to think like that's pre-alpha, so there's going to be some issues. But we really won't know until we see it in beta, but I'm really crossing my fingers considering that there's a new engine that this game is going to perform really, really well, especially those of us who have RTX cards. But anyway, that's the whole video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one.